Hey, what's up everybody? This is Tattoo Bart and welcome back to the channel. And today we got a really special video because we are going to review a prototype. It's going to be a prototype by Dragonhawk Mast. It's the Racer Pro. Just so you know, this machine is not yet for sale on their website. It's not officially been launched, and I probably should actually not be doing this review, but I'm gonna do it anyways because it's a very cool machine that I just want to show to you guys and girls and see what this thing actually can do. Now, there are a couple of things that are not really been fine-tuned, but I already gave my input basically back to Mast and Dragonhawk, so I hope they're gonna fix these bugs when they are gonna mass produce it. But without further ado, let's just dive down and see what this machine is all about. So we have the machine right here, Mast Racer Pro, super hertz. That has to do with how this machine can actually be adjusted. Very cool design. It is very small. It just fits on my hand. It has a super small battery on the top. And the nice thing is that you can actually remove that battery and put it back on. So if that battery runs out, you can always switch for another one, or have 2 or 3 or 4 separate batteries so you can keep on tattooing basically. Now, I don't know a lot about this machine. I think this battery will probably last you anywhere between the 4 to 6 hours, but that's just basically a guess from me because there's really no information even from Dragonhawk itself out about this machine. So this is kind of going to be trial and error and see how it actually works. Now right here we got 3 buttons. We got a big old power button and a minus and a plus button. If we hold the power button, the machine should turn on. And you can see it is on frequency mode right now. I think if we double tap this, it switches over to voltage mode. So right now it's just normal voltage mode, 6 volts and running. Of course, we can increase the voltage up and down, but that's really not where we want to use this machine for. When the machine is on pause, you can see in the bottom, if it wants to focus, there are memory slots. So right now it's on a lining memory slot, and now it is on the shader memory slot. So you can toggle between 2 memory slots whenever you are paused in the DC voltage mode. Now let's double tap it again. Now we are in frequency mode. And once the machine is on pause, you can see in the bottom there's hard, medium, and soft. And you can toggle between those modes. So right now it's on soft. When it's running, you can adjust the frequency. When it's on pause, you can put it on medium. It has a bit more power. Or you can put it on hard. And it really has a lot of power. Now, one thing I did notice is when it's on soft and you run the machine, you can go very low in the voltage. It does get very inconsistent, but then once you go higher, like after, I think it's 80, yeah, after 80, it doesn't really adjust the hertz anymore. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it sounds like it is running at the same frequency as when it is on 80. And now it starts to slow down a little bit. Now when we are on medium, it is also a bit inconsistent on the lower frequencies. But then once you go up, here it's still changing frequency. Yeah, and it goes all the way, it changes the frequency all the way up to 140 hertz. Not that we're ever gonna need those. Then on hard, it is even faster. But then when we go to a really low voltage or a really low frequency, it starts to be a little bit inconsistent, but actually I feel like on the hard mode, it is running probably the smoothest. But yeah, pretty cool feature, pretty nice that they made this frequency mode, kind of how Cheyenne did it on their Ultimate machine. Of course, you have an adjustable grip. It does have a 4.2 millimeter stroke, so it does have a pretty large stroke. And right here, you can also unscrew this and reach the motor. Now they did make a little bend in this part right here. I think that's to fit through the hole, but I think they should have fixed that in a little bit of a more neat way. But yeah, it is that M-Core motor that we see on a lot of Dragonhawk machines and Mast machines. So that is all pretty cool. Now let's wrap this machine up and see how she actually runs on a bit of practice skin. So I want to try a couple of different needles. I got a 11 round liner, 3 round liner, 9 round magnum, just to test out a little bit of shading and see how these torque modes basically work. So I'm gonna start with a 3 round liner and just pull a couple of lines. I want to put it on soft first. It doesn't go any higher. It is a very light machine. You can definitely feel that this machine is hitting very soft. It does produce a nice line. It is not very saturated. Definitely hitting a lot harder. And you can see that a little bit. I do feel like on the soft mode, it is a little bit easier to control. But now, let's see if we can adjust the hertz by ear. So if you hear this, this is on soft mode. I'm gonna go to medium. Sounds a bit faster. This actually sounds a little bit more like it. Just not running as consistent. I'll put it on the other side next to it. So yeah, I kind of have a feeling that it just runs slower, but then again, I do see a little bit of difference. First line, this one right here is the one where it was on medium mode. The second one is where it was on soft mode. And this one was on medium as well. And these were basically the second and the third line were all the lines that we did on the 100 hertz, and then the left one I kind of adjusted it by ear, so it was the same as the second line, but still I do see a little bit of difference. So I do think that the torque mode really has a little bit of impact. Let's go with the 11 round liner. I'm gonna use the hertz mode again on 100, and I put the torque on hard. So let's see how that actually feels. Let's pull a line right here. the line. I do have to say it does sound a bit inconsistent every now and then. I think I might need to push a little bit harder. Alright, that's a nice saturated line. Now let's see what happens if we move this to, for example, medium. Or let's actually go to soft. Oversaturate the difference a bit. Here we go. That actually feels very nice. I do have to say, it feels like on soft mode, this machine is a lot easier to control. At least for me. It just gives you a little bit more time to really control the machine in which direction it's going. So it is very nice when you're lining. Very, very, very nice. Let's try one line on medium mode, since it's kind of in between those two. I'm keeping the hertz at 100, even though it does feel like this machine is running a bit faster now. Also very, very nice. Cool. Now let's see how much of a difference that actually makes when we are shading. So I got a 13 round magnum, and we are going to start on soft, and we're going to slow this machine down a little bit. Let's do 70 hertz. Adjust my grip a little bit. And let's see how much of a difference that makes. It's on soft mode right now. We are going to do a bit of shading. Feels very nice and soft. Of course, it is practice skin, so it always shows a bit different than whenever you're using on real skin. It does give a very nice soft shade. We're going to keep the 70 hertz and we're going to go to medium. And let's do something right next to it. It does feel like it's hitting a lot harder. Even though it sounds like it's running faster, I don't have the feeling it's running a whole lot faster. But you can see that the shading is just a little bit darker. I will show it up close a little bit later, just so you can see it a bit better. First, we're gonna run it 70 hertz still on hard mode. even shows a bit darker again. And I also think that this is probably a nice mode to pack your black and pack your color in. So this is pretty nice and solid black. Let's quickly put it on medium mode, see how that works. Let's put it on soft. Very, very nice. So let's go a little bit more up close to what we have actually done here. And you can see how these torque modes really can have like a small impact, but it does look really cool. It gives you some different ways of tattooing. I do have to say I actually like this machine on soft and medium a little bit more than on hard, which I was not really expecting. But let's quickly go back up top and talk about that a little bit more. So that was the review of the Mast Racer Pro, which I think is a very cool and very professional in the new style and trend of tattoo machines. I really love this machine. There were a couple of things. It really sounds like certain hertz on a certain torque mode sound really inconsistent, but this is also my feedback I gave to the company, which I hope they will fix before they mass produce this machine. But on soft and medium mode, this machine is such a good machine. On hard mode, it is, for me personally, a little bit harder to control. I like to control my machines a little bit slower. I like to work a bit slower. That's my preference. Other people that might like to go fast and do their things like that, they might enjoy the hard mode a little bit more than I do. I think this machine has a 4.2 millimeter stroke, which is already a very large and powerful stroke. And then to have something that makes it a bit softer is actually very nice. So definitely for shading, for packing, and for the really fine lines, I really enjoyed using the soft mode. I think for the bigger lines, the medium and the hard mode are, yeah, for sure necessary, especially if you go higher even than a 11 round liner. But overall, this machine very nice and small, very easy to control, especially on the soft and medium mode, and something that is a really must-have in my opinion. And especially if you are looking for a new machine, or maybe even your first machine, this could really be something that you can really benefit from, because I think a lot of people searching for a lot of power, and power can also work very much against you. And then if you have a very powerful machine but you can put it on a little bit more of a soft mode, yeah, it's a little bit more beginner friendly and a little bit easier to work around a very powerful machine. And then once your knowledge increases, you can always experiment by going to a medium and a hard mode. But even for me, I've been tattooing professional for more than 8 years, and I really enjoy using that soft and medium mode, but that's probably a personal preference. Now, like I said, this machine is not out yet. Probably on the Instagram from Dragonhawk and Mast, it will be announced when this machine is going to be released. And if it is released, there is also a link in the description down below where you can have your extra discount whenever you're ordering this machine. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot more to say other than I wish you all a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.